Hello and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards, cause Commander's number one. I've got the boys with me. I've got Sherman and Slothy. Sherman, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right so far. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I said in our Discord and stuff, but the Frank gave me a ton of cards, so I got a bunch of new cards for the collection. And all I did was sit there and pull them out, and I got so many new decks to make because it was all stuff I didn't have. A lot of commons, uncommons, just things I didn't really have. So basically, like I had a blast going through just a ton of cards, like a kid reimagining decks all week. So it was really really fun. I think I'm up 13 decks. Got to get some sleeves. Gotta definitely do that. But yeah, there's a lot of really really cool. Like I said, when you're hating all the time, like I am on the Universe Beyond stuff, you don't look at the set, and if you don't look at the set, you don't see all the cool like uncommon commanders, the cool like because I tend to like a lot of like bulk rare kind of commanders. I like their weird ideas, but yeah, so I just been having an absolute blast going through them. There's so many fun ones to do. There's a lot of silly ones in Spider-Man, and a lot of people didn't like anything about the Spider-Man set. It's me. I'm a lot of people. But there's a lot of actually like really cool uncommon legends in Spider-Man. So yeah, other than that, I've just been really, really happy going through cards because I love to go through and sort cards. So I've got I put up a big thing like in the Discord, and it's just like stacks and stacks of these huge piles of things I pulled out immediately for decks, and I was like, oh, this has got to go here, this has got to go there. And I made another one of the like the illegal pairing decks. I love them. I did Jasmine, Boreal, and Yargle, and that deck slaps. It's really really cool. I've got to play it online one time this week, and it was so fun. And yeah, I'll maybe we'll do a deck tech on that one at some point for the event. But that's probably the one. That and Dugan are the ones I'm going to play for that event. And yeah, anyways, that's my rant. Slothy, how are you doing?
I am tired. I had my band played a show last night, so kind of still on the come down from that. Kind of like what you were saying with some of these Universe Beyond bulk commanders. There's always in the common now and uncommon slot some really interesting stuff you can do. Like I just built a metalhead deck. My wife saw that card and was like, "Hey, that's like you." So I ended up doing that. Built the entire thing for $37. It absolutely slaps. But yeah, I'm pretty good. Happy to be chatting cards.
I love to when you can put together a deck for so cheap. That's again talking about cheap stuff. I made obviously the Jasmine and Yargle in that deck. Not cheap. Not cheap at all. Don't even. Yeah, that's horrible. You guys will shame me for that deck. But I also did make just a normal Jasmine deck, and it's so fun. It's just like full of beaters, just like Heroes of Savannah Lions. You know what I mean? It's so cool to just be able to have like these like silly little things that you're able to do. And I love budget pieces, but yeah, it's always fun to go and build all this new stuff. The show, like what was the highlight of the show for you?
Ooh. Well, saying the entire thing's kind of boring. Yeah, I would say that I just love seeing the entire community come in, and it did end up selling out, which is really, really cool. And just everyone kind of supporting everyone. If people were falling, they were getting picked back up, and yeah, it was just really, really good vibes.
Yeah, I like a show that's like that where like you said, people are having just a good time over. Metal shows are generally kind of like that. If you've never been out to any metal shows, they are like really friendly. It's such a strange thing when you got so many aggressive looking people with big spikes on in their outfits, and they're just like the friendliest. I do love metal shows, so
absolutely. It's all about the community.
Exactly right. I'm glad it went well. Your voice, for everyone who doesn't know Slothy's a singer, your voice sounds pretty good today, so that's good.
Thank you.
You made it through. We'll see. We'll see how the rest of it goes.
Yeah, I might get to a point where I'm just talking and only air's coming out, but we'll see.
Yeah, right. Today I wanted to talk about I've wanted to for a few weeks now. I wanted to talk about removal because it was kind of a hot button issue, because anyone who listens to the show knows I don't really play a ton of removal. kind of I I have a different removal philosophy, and we'll get to my removal philosophy kind of later on. But Command Zone, again, maybe it's just them trying to have like a hot taker and stuff like that. But they put up a big a post about, we don't think that generous gifts and Beast Within, they're bad pieces of removal. They're they aren't really good, and here's why and stuff. And they went on a big tangent about how bad it is to give someone stuff, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the community, I don't think agreed in the slightest. It seemed pretty mean. They weren't as wonderful as they could be. So for anyone who doesn't know the cards and lives under a rock and doesn't play them, Beast Within and Generous Gifts are both 3 mana removals. Both destroy target permanent. One's 2 and a green, one's 2 and a white. They're both instants. One gives them a 3/3 green beast, and one gives them a 3/3 green elephant. The whole point of the whole point that people were trying to make with this was, it's bad in games to give your enemies something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're playing a format with 40 life, and 40 life giving you a 3/3 to get rid of the best piece of, like, on your board. I'll make that trade every day.
They have to attack you 13 times with it to get you down to 1 life.
Well, and again, I like to make like jokes and stuff and be like, hey, like I'm gonna help you get a new creature. You know, you have to have a little bit of a laugh, but the trade off for how accessible the cards are. Like, I think Beast Within and Beast Within $1, Generous Gifts $1, $2. They kind of just go wherever they need to go, right? Like they cover a lot, and as Magic gets more and more like I know I'm a little tangenty at the moment. There's a point to this, I swear. As Magic gets stronger, more pushed, more cool stuff, you run out of slots in your deck for things. You need things that solve more problems or do more things like that. Again, one of the things I think is like the coolest about the way Sherman and Slothy build decks is specifically, they're very toolboxy, right? Cards have to fulfill 2 purposes, or like it has to be a theme and the purpose. Like it's never just like best in slot picks or priciest pick. It's the one that's going to solve the most problems, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Is like, what is our removal, why, how to use it, like where you go with it. But the reason that these two, and there's so many problems in Commander, right? There's so many things that are just like, my deck cannot get around X, Y, or Z. Like, if you're a graveyard deck, someone plays Leyline of the Void. Okay, well, I'll give them that 3/3 beast every day. You know what I mean? Like, you're making it so I can't play my deck, or you get a 3/3. That's easy math to me, right? Like, that's an easy thing. Swing it at me all you want. Take two of them. I got my graveyard back. We're good.
Or like a card that a lot of people complain about, Field of the Dead. How many 2/2s are you going to let them make before you're like, okay, I'll give them 1 3/3 to deal with that?
Well, that's actually I kind of have it.
Actually,
I was gonna.
I just don't. We should not talk about Field of Dead. I just bought it, okay, off of House of Cards. So no, we will leave that out there.
Let's go. Let me really quickly, if you want any of these cards that we are going to talk about today, and pieces of removal, and there's so many good ones. Get all your all those 0 cost ones. Go over to housecards.ca, promo code IT99. It's going to give you a discount if you want cool sleeves and nice playmats to put these cards on, and a nice little set of dry erase tokens they're really nice to draw the beast tokens that you're giving your opponents. Because again, it is also fun to blow their stuff up and be like, here's a beast, and like, did a child with brain damage draw this? Yeah, I did. But yeah, go over to nerdgear.ca, promo code IT99. Again, you're going to get a great discount on that kind of stuff. And yeah, like, share, subscribe with this stuff, and let me know if you disagree with this. Everyone's going to disagree with my removal philosophy, and that's okay, because my removal philosophy is kind of insane. It's kind of we'll get to it, but it's kind of an insane person's. And then if you want to directly support us, go over to Patreon. It's basically paid like as little as $1. Come hang out, build decks with us, and back into this. Okay, now with stuff like Field of the Dead, right now there is a big problem. Everyone in I think people play too much removal. The amount of removal that's in the normal deck. This isn't even my deck philosophy at the moment. but the amount of removal that's in the average deck allows me to play none. I'm able to play most games letting other people police the table and just pretending I don't have it, or being able to bluff my way through holding up removal because, well, he hasn't cast it yet and he's got to, because what animal doesn't put any removal in a deck, right? But there's just this kind of odd thing I want to say, and we talk about it a lot on the show. People don't remove lands, and people should remove lands. There's so many good pieces and stuff like again, like being able to Beast Within, destroy target permanent. Field of the Dead is great. Somebody gets their Cabal Coffers and Urborg combo going, so that's a great piece to hit. And again, you know what I mean? Like in a higher power table, you're going to see stuff like a Gaia's Cradle and everything. But do you really want to let me just sit there with a Valakut on the field and just do my landfall shenanigans with all my lands? I've got Dry to the Elysian Grove. Everything's a mountain and I'm playing a landfall. Do you want me to have Valakut just because it... Well, you know, we don't do it. No, get rid of my cards, right? The fact that we can trade so many of these things, like, but won't trade lands is kind of crazy, because like I've had games where people don't mind at all making my commander cost 20 mana. People think it's hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, it gets blown off. Nobody minds that. But like, if I like look at someone's lands, they're like, that was my favorite forest. How dare you? That was my only green source. So let's get in. I'll let Sherman, who I would say is the removal expert, give us the general overview on like what is removal, like what kind of things are considered removal.
All right. So as to our understanding, or you know, for our group, okay, it could be different. You might have a different understanding. It's fine, but this is how we interpret it. Okay, there's basically like a few types of removal. Okay, like basically, you have a targeted, and then you have like something that's like mass, okay, or more than one. All right. So what do we mean by targeted versus mass removal? In a sense, it's like targeted is just like you're removing something that's, you're trading your resources for their resource 1-to-1. That's it. Okay. Anything that's mass removal, it's just beyond that. So like if I want to do more land destruction, you know, once again, there's things like Wave of Vitriol, where, you know, you can do like destroy like enchantments, artifacts, and like non-basic lands, you know, that's land removal, you know, but it's also mass removal, right? As opposed to like what we were talking about earlier, where it was like generous gifts or Beast Within, was more like 1-to-1. Granted, you know, people don't look at it as 1-to-1 because you're giving them something, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say with Wave of Vitriol, specifically with what you talked about, that goes into even another section of removal where you have gone farther into this, but it's the mass sacrifice. Though it's not destroy, it's get around, it's the sacrifice, the like Mythos of Snack Stacks, Tragic Arrogance, those kind of things, right?
Yeah, like if you guys listen for a while and you hear about the board wipes that I use, I tend to like to use things that, when I'm in white at least, I tend to like to use things that involve sacrifice, because my play group likes to play with a lot of indestructibility. So because I face like a god deck like every week or so, I'm going to have things that involve sacrifice. So, but you know, let's start off with the easy stuff. Let's start off with like 1-to-1 ratio removal. What kind of things would that be considered?
For me, that's like a Doomblade, just classic, just straight out destroy target creature, or target non-black creature, whatever it is. Any of those kind of things, right? Pongify I like as well as a piece of removal, although again it gives a creature. Like even 1-to-1, a lot of people will trade a, here you go get your land, I'm gonna Swords to Plowshare you, right? Put these in. Like
even beyond that, it's like why do people not like one like targeted removal? Well, like me personally, I like targeted removal. I think everyone should play at least like 3 or 4 like types of targeted removal in their decks. But that's me personally, right? Some people are like, that's already too much. That's already way too much. Like they would throw in 2. It's like I like having like 3 or 4, but there's also Yeah, but at the same time, that's also another reason why people look at me and like, "Hey, do you have an answer?" I'm like, because I tend to have an answer because of that, right?
Well, it's nice to kind of like Dan was saying that he just kind of sits back and lets other people police the table. It's nice to be able to answer something that's a problem to you. Like some of my favorite removal right now is the stuff that deals with commanders and like things like cyber conversion or imprisoned in the moon, Kenrith's transformation, stuff that doesn't make it change zones, but makes it so that it shuts off that piece.
Yeah. Like I started throwing in things like that counter triggered abilities
Hmm.
because there's been a lot of blink lately.
Oh yeah.
And if someone's like blinking to their tracks, depending on the wording of like the blink spell or the card, you can stifle that return trigger when it comes
Oh yeah.
back.
Oh yeah.
So then the commander's lost forever,
I like that.
right?
Blinking a
But that's
track,
the
so that
thing,
gives
like,
me PTSD from
yeah.
Brian.
But like it like targeted removal, like it depends on what you're playing though. Like you said,
Hmm.
Lothy, if it's hurting your strategy, yeah, 100%. You should remove it or convince someone
Yeah.
else to remove it, right?
Yeah. You can't really like my big thing, my philosophy with removal is that because I do run a fair amount. Um, you can't really expect other people to do what you want them to do.
Mm, I do every time.
Well,
Someone
you
doesn't
can't.
understand game theory.
If you want something done, you got to do it yourself.
It's true. The I always say that like the C in CEDH stands for consistent, not really competitive, right? And the more things that you can consistently deal with yourself, the better, right? Like there's not many games where Sherman is unable to deal with the threats of his own deck. The same with Slothy, right? You guys have like a lot of like, okay, well, I don't really have a way to get around like you might not be able to get around a pillow fort deck, but you can definitely get around a like an Avacyn setup where I've got like my field is indestructible, right? You guys can get around like a graveyard strategy because you just happen to include things that like one size fits all also hits a graveyard, right? Like you guys put a lot of answers in when you do it, and that is like there's so many things that removal can target. It's not just like a destroy, like there is your hand, there is the graveyard, there is their creatures, their enchantments, their lands, exile, their commander. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like zones to try and get around, and a lot of times you kind of just don't have the ability in a deck to hit every metric. You can't solve every problem, so you're kind of stuck whenever you're deck building. You have one of two ways. You either go like a very simple, like here's a deck list, I'm going to play this deck list, like EDH rec, go and find your cards that you want to do kind of thing. Or again, like follow a list. I like to pretty much every time we make a list, I like to say this is a shell. Here is like a list idea. You like upgrade it. We have lots of cheap ones, lots of expensive ones, but the gist is the same, right? Like you can interchange these out. Here is an idea, right? But not everyone does it that way. Lots of people just like to have a list presented, or you can build to your own meta and stuff, right? What do you see, right? If you're playing with the same, like if you're playing kitchen table Magic and you've got the same play group week after week, that's very, very easy to build around because you know how people play and stuff like that. Like I know what kind of decks like play well into like Sherman and Slothy and stuff like that, and what's going to be fun for everyone, but also what's going to be like effective and stuff, right? There's that the bracket system kind of tries to solve this problem in like a impromptu setting and stuff, but you're always kind of if you play mostly at a game store, you definitely have to build way different than if you're a meta player where you play with the same 10 people, 20 people, right? Like if you're always seeing the same people, then you know like, okay, this player is a Muldrotha player and they also play Marin. That like if I don't run anything for the graveyard, I'm gonna get hosed, right? So you have a little bit of kind of like you have Sherman said game knowledge earlier, but that's not what he was talking about. But but that's what I want to call it. You have a bit of an insight into how these people are. Anyone who's like sat down and played with me knows that I'm not running removal. At a certain point, my threats definitely become hollow, minus the board state that's going to kill you. there's not usually things in my hand. It's very rare that I'm like holding like a mitt full of like big answers, because the answers are all sitting on the board, ramped out, and letting someone else deal with them.
Yeah, if you've got a damnation, you're fine.
Yeah, if you have, I do want to put some of those in, like damnation, the wrath of gods. Those, those tend to draw. I find when people play them, I find your damnations, your wrath of God, those things, they draw a lot of table ire. They, even if it's the right thing to do, even if it is the, like, even if I'm a problem and I'm rocking all slivers and stuff like that, and we know that I'm a turn away from getting the like a Hive Lord or Indestructible out and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It still feels bad to a lot of players to get mass board wiped. They don't like it, and you're kind of when you're the policeman, Sherman's a policeman all the time, right? You kind of get everyone like, you know what I mean? You kind of get unwanted strays, when the unwanted strays really should be at a player like me, who is not pulling their part, not helping table threats, just only being a threat. Because if you said you put like 4 or 5 of XYZ cards in, right? If I just add 4 or 5 more pieces of ramp, I do that, I'm going to get my stuff out way faster on average. I'm going to likely be a problem. I could have added more draw. That's like where I go with it and stuff, right? So like when you're the policeman, you kind of have to deal with the consequences of having to answer, right? Like, because you're not gonna, unless you're great at politics, you're generally gonna upset someone, right? Like, how do you deal with being the policeman, Sherman? I'm like I said, I'm no policeman. I'm the villain.
In all honesty, I don't care. I'm just like. So my philosophy when it comes to removal and being a policeman and everything, it comes down to, can I cause chaos, right? Because I'm not there to win. Like, if I win, great. I'm happy. My focus isn't to win. My focus is to have fun. And sometimes, fun means, trying to make the call where I have this board wipe. I could do it. I could reset everyone, and it'd just be funny because this person was going to win in 2 turns. And I know they have the cards in hand. I'm just going to destroy it just because. Compared to, okay, this is like, turn 16. It's been 2 hours. I have a board wipe, but Slothy can win. I'm not casting the board wipe.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point.
So like when it comes to being like policing in that sense, it's not about like what to remove, it's when to remove things. Do you want the game to continue or do you want the game to end? And that's what, in my opinion, what policing is all about.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not about like, this person's, like you always board wipe, you always have answers. No, I'm always stopping people from winning. Okay. Because I just want you to get close to it. Just dangle that carrot in front of your face and then rip it away. And then watch someone else win, because I don't care about winning.
I like it. I think that's a fair way to approach it, because I also don't really try to win. I try to have fun and I try to do silly things, right? So
and that's the thing. That's the point, right? Like it depends on your group and also depends on your personality. If you want to have fun and everything, let's look at it this way, okay? Is removal good to have in a deck? Yes or no?
Well,
answer is nobody really knows. I can give you examples where a lot of removal is the key to the strategy. At the same time, I've heard of people where, like in CEDH, where like someone won a tournament where they had zero interaction throughout their whole deck. Okay, and they won the whole tournament. So which one works? It doesn't matter. It comes down to how you want to play.
Well,
who cares? Who cares if you have a beast within and people say it's crappy? Who cares? We play with 3 cost mana rocks, 4 cost mana rocks. Everyone's like, no, play 1 or 2, blah blah blah. We're like the opposite because we're playing casual.
Well, when you think about that too, right? A lot of times, Commander, as it gets more efficient too, the cost comes down. We've got a lot of 2 mana commanders, 3, but not everything is like that, right? And if you're looking at like a random pod and you're able to trade your 3 mana for my Dragon, that's a pretty good deal. That's
I would
a
take that deal all day long.
Yeah.
that's a pretty wonderful deal. You know, before combat, you blow Dragon off the board, right? Like that's a pretty wise trade. Like no matter how you look at the game or assess threats, those are pretty good, right? If I'm playing Kalia, the whole point of Kalia is to rush out Kalia and get that attack going as fast as I can. Kalia's 4 mana. I get that Kalia out, I'm starting to drop dragons, demons, angels, big baddies in the sky. That's a good trade. Giving me a 3/3 on the ground is much better than the Master of Cruelties coming at you next turn, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, removal is like subjective. And when you think of it, okay? Like, okay, let's say I have like a Beast Within, okay? Is it better to remove something like, you know, like an Dragon? Or is it good to use it for someone's Soul Ring early on or Mana Vaults early on because of the resources, right? In the end, it comes down to how you want to play, okay? And when it comes to how you want to play, it comes down to, in the end, once again, something that everyone always kind of thinks that they're good at, you know, and that's its threat assessment.
Yep.
That's all it comes down to. All this removal talk comes down to threat assessment. Okay, is that one card worth your spending your resources on? Is that one removal worth it? For Daniel, who plays no removal, no interaction, he doesn't care because it's worth it for him to build that board. Okay, I like playing decks where, you know, like everyone says, is more toolboxy. I like having answers for things. So I'm going to have more interaction because of that. And for me, it's worth it to like have like a fog, you know, in hand, as opposed to Daniel, who prefers Spore Frog, where it's visible and you can't do anything because now you have to make a deal with me. You know, it's like,
I do like a visible threat
information compared to hidden information, right?
Combat denial. I like that one. I was gonna say with talking about, I had one there for, because I'm just over on the video adding sections of removal and stuff, but one of them is resource denial. In a stronger, if you're playing like a fun game with me at an event, then it's all very, very chill. But if you are playing like a higher power game, my favorite thing to destroy is people's colored mana. I go and I look at, like, you're playing a green deck, I'm blowing your forests up. You cannot cast your ramp spells because I've got like that as early as I can piece of like removal. Again, if I get rid of your green source and I know you're playing green, you probably can't get your stuff out, right? You can't cast your cultivate. You can't hit that turn 3 spike you wanted, even if you can get it very, very early and stuff, right? Like if I drop a turn 1 Forest Soul Ring, turn 2 Beast Within your colored mana, you're done for the game. For a lot of people, there's no coming back from a turn 1 losing their forest in a multicolor deck or their like color of mana that they needed, right? You take out the for a blue player, you get a 1 or 2 early islands destroyed from them. They're not recovering from that because they kept their hand based on what was in it, and now they're okay. You have a 3/3. Go ahead, throw it at me all day. All day, I'll sit in there and laugh at it. Like again, that's why I like to Mana Tithe, or when I do play any removal, like Mana Tithe, Counterspell, anything that gets people's ramp out. That's like some of the strongest because I keep hands. If I have a few lands and I've got a cultivate in hand, good to go. Doesn't matter what it is, we're all right. And if you wreck that cultivate, then we're in a bad spot. So like resource denial, I put in stuff like a Magus of the Moon, a Collector Oof, right? Magus of the Moon, there's some decks that people play that'll hose the whole deck. Even if they're running removal, they might not be able to, like, if you're playing like Guild Gates and like you're pretty Guild Gates towns, like a Wandering Minstrel kind of deck, you're done. Most of your pieces are those 2 colors. Now they're all mountains and stuff, and you better hope that I've got something to destroy Magus of the Moon with a mountain.
Or even something that's more difficult to deal with in Blood Moon.
Oh, Blood Moon's a great one too. I hate that card.
But the problem with Blood Moon is Blood Moon's still expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So like things like Magnus of the Moon. Was it Magnus of the Moon? Yeah.
Blood Moon's only $9 now.
Sorry?
Blood Moon's only $9 now.
and still higher than something like, I don't know, like Blood Sun or something like that.
What's the blue one that does it, or islands? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
That does it for islands?
Yeah, there's like another Blood Moon, a Mages of the Moon effect, but not Mages of the Moon.
For islands?
Yeah, I thought so.
I don't know about islands.
Am I losing my
I don't
mind?
think it was. So, like, I don't know. Let's see.
Let me see. What is the card that's like it for islands? Did I have a stroke in the middle of the night? No, Harbinger of the Sea. Okay.
Yeah, Harbinger of the Sea just came out. It's 1 in double blue. It's a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. Non-basic lands or islands.
Also hilarious.
Yeah, it's a creature, so it's easier to remove.
Not if you're using non-basic lands. It's not.
I like stuff like this, but once again, like it just comes down to like how you want to play, right? So it's like,
well, what you said too earlier was like when to use removal is a big thing, because I see one of the most common mistakes I would say personally that I see is people using removal when they don't need to. Sherman does not remove stuff that's not bothering Sherman. He doesn't do it for the fun of the game. He does it for a deal. He does it for that. This is the exact same with Slothy. If I'm laying belt to one of Slothy's opponents, he's not destroying my creature. He's all good with that. But if I look that way, then it's I'm going to destroy that if you turn it this way. You can politics. A lot of time, politics can save your piece of removal by just simply being like, don't point that this way. It's all good. And then I can save it for something that is there, right? Or alternatively, I could be like, well, don't make a deal with him. I'll help you kill him. Like you destroy it and we're good. I don't want this Ulamog coming at me, right? A lot of people do like way too early go and destroy stuff that's not really affecting them just because it's a powerful card, just because it's this or that, right? Like a common one I see all the time, somebody drops a Seedborn, but they've got nothing in hand. And you see everyone rush to remove it anyways. They're not doing anything with it. It's just a powerful card for the sake of being a powerful card, and everyone's like, I gotta kill it now, right? Or like I said, I'll play something and I haven't attacked anyone. Someone will do it. All you're doing is drawing the ire of somebody who might not have even been looking at you when you could have saved it to deal with something that is now going to come at you.
Like that kind of reminds me of a game that we played at one of the face-to-face Calgary events. This was against I don't remember his name, but he had the really, really cool blinged out Ravnica deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he was very, very close to winning the game. And then Dan just threw with what was it, like 31-32 Birds of Paradise at him. And I was holding removal for like 4 or 5 turns for when he came at me because he was very close to it. So I used it to remove his only flying blocker to deal with the threat. I could have done it and blown up Dan's Rigo or the Atali that Emery had that was getting cards, but like you just kind of gotta know what's going on.
Yeah, like I can see. Okay, so when it comes to removal, some people like you can argue both sides, saying like, okay, like I can come up with tons of situations like that where it's just like, okay, like this one time I had this card that it helped me. This other time, it was just like a top deck that it was perfect and everything. Mm-hmm. Like we can talk about that all day long. It comes once again, still, it just comes down to like, how do you want to play? What is the point of removal? Is removal really that important? And if so, why is it important? And why do you use certain cards? So like, how about like we start off back to the beginning? How important is removal?
I would say for me, it's as important as it is to my game plan, right? Like if I have a deck that does not have a path, like if there's something that can just shut my deck down, if I know that, again, I'm playing a Muldrotha deck. If I know a Rest in Peace, a Leyline of the Void wrecks my deck, I have to have things to deal with that, right? Like I have to have things that can get rid of enchantments. I know that that's going to be my biggest obstacle to winning is something that messes with my graveyard. So I've got to put more like a Reclamation Sage, more toolboxy things in, because that's something that'll directly ruin my deck, right?
So let's stop on that point real fast. Okay, you need things like Reclamation Sage and all that stuff. Okay, cool. So the thing is, when it comes now to removal, okay, we've established that we need removal. Now, depending on your deck, the removal changes. So, Daniel, you said Reclamation Sage would be something. Well, that's a creature type of creature removal in a sense. Like it's a creature that you cast to remove like an artifact enchantment, not actual creature like remove the creature kind of deal. Okay, that's what I mean. All right. So, so if are you gonna use something like that in a creature heavy deck as opposed to a spell heavy deck?
Well, yeah, exactly, right? Like Ovika's not needing that.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so if you're going to have it, like, let's say we're building a Karametra deck or Karametra, however you want to pronounce it. Okay. So you want to cast creatures because every time you cast creatures, you can fetch a land, right? So removal like that is useful as opposed to something like more useful as opposed to something like Generous Gift or Beast Within, maybe, right? You know, maybe you combine it with like Blinking. So now you can double up on the removal effect for the ETBs. Maybe you have a Panharmonicon where, you know, stuff like that. So like removal, you know, everyone keeps on talking how removal is 1-to-1 most of the time, but it's not always 1-to-1, even if the card is based around a 1-to-1 ratio of removal. Do you see what I mean? Right? So because of that, you know, things like I can see why people be like Generous Gift and Beast Within aren't as good because one, you're trying to remove a resource, but you're giving them a resource. Okay, fine, I get that. Okay, but if we can copy that spell or repeat it constantly, okay, and target a bunch of lands, or we want them to have creatures enter because we want to target those creatures, things like that. What is the game plan? The removal shouldn't just be looked at as I'm removing a threat. You should look at it as like, okay, what else can this removal do for me that's beneficial besides removing a threat?
Yeah, I have a strange way of looking at removal. So that is a very good way to look at it because I do look at it as this is removal. This is what this does, rather than what can this do for me? How can it work? Can I politics with it? Because those are different things, right? Like Slothy said with the birds thing. You could have saved that person, but that person was going to win. So you let them die, and then you got rid of my thing. And then I lost. Worth. It's like the ability to turn, instead of just like you said, seeing it as a 1-for-1, right? I use this card to, like, again, I'm going to Path to Exile your commander. Well, that's not the best way to look at it. It's I'm going to Path to Exile whatever is in the way of me winning the game. Whatever's going to be like the most detrimental to my deck is what's getting pathed. And that's not just a piece of removal. That's not 1-to-1, right? Because yeah, sure, if it's a 1-mana card to a 1-mana card, no one's pathing my Land of War Elves unless they're full of hatred in their heart. You know what I mean? Like you path my Birds of Paradise, then you're a hater.
Like if I cast a Disenchant, okay, to destroy your Rest in Peace, because the Rest in Peace is holding my whole graveyard land recursion deck. To me, it's not a 1-to-1 because that one card affects 30 or 40% of my deck.
Yeah.
Okay. Therefore, it is not a 1-to-1 anymore. It's more like a 1-to-30. So it's worth the resource. Sure, it's removing a target that's only a 1-to-1, but in the end, it doesn't calculate that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think it's funny that you mentioned earlier as well, like the difference between a fog and a Spore Frog and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I love to play the cards like the Seal of Primordiums and stuff. I like to have it there. Be like, I'll blow that up. I'll do it.
Yeah. It always comes down to like known information and unknown information. That's part of threat assessment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and people act differently depending on what it is. So like a great example of this is for people that play D&D. Okay. So if you're a DM or you play in D&D, okay, whether you do this or not, I suggest you guys do this if you don't, okay? But you have your players that would roll for like skill checks and everything, but then you can also have the DM roll the skill checks for you so you don't know what's going on, right? So let's say Daniel and Slothy, you guys are, you know, a group of scouts and you're scouting like ahead and you see like this bandit camp, okay? And you be like, okay, like Slothy, you're like a ranger, you roll perception, you know, If you roll a perception and you're like, oh, I failed. Oh, now you're gonna, I can be like, okay, you only notice 2 people. Okay, is there more? There's probably more because I failed it, right? Because that's knowledge that you already have. But
Yeah.
if I roll a skill check for you, okay, and you fumble, I can be like, you notice 2 people and you hear one other person that's behind a tent, as opposed to you not knowing that there's actually like a dozen people there, and if you guys go in, you guys get slaughtered.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the difference between that. Like when it comes to things like the spore frog and the frog. Okay, there's known information and unknown information, right? And that's the nice thing about removal is for most of these things, it's hidden information. You don't know if I have a counter spell, right? You don't know if I have a board wipe. But then if you have something that's out on the field that shows that stuff, then that's different, right? So if you have like Nev's disc, right? Everyone freaks out. Like, well, I see a Neverreal's disc here. It's tapped right now, but I don't know if you can untap it and just blow up the world. Should I just cast like something that into it, or should I just ramp, or like what do I do? Right? Do I try to remove it? It's holding everyone back, So that's the difference. Like, everyone changes the way that they act and the way that they play based on how many cards you have in your hand, like what's in your graveyard, what's on the field. All of this is threat assessment understanding, right? And that's where a lot of people lack is, like I said, people like to believe they're really good at threat assessment, even myself. But I know there's times when I'm just like, I just dropped the ball so bad, because I'm not threat assessing properly because I don't consider these things.
Well, really quickly as well, it's interesting, like you say, because what I love about Magic so much is there's just like no right or wrong way to play. There's so many ways to get around it. And what you just said is such a different philosophy from me. This is known information, unknown information. I sit there and flash my threats at people when they're in my hand. I'm just like, I'll deter people all the time by just like holding a card backwards and just being like, I got it. It's right here. You want to put that back in your hand? I got a vapor snag. Just letting you know. Or sometimes I say like, I'll put that back in your hand if you want. And I'm bluffing it out, but oftentimes it's very easy to tell if I have removal because I've threatened the entire table with it. I'm just like, this is a blasphemous act, and I'm not afraid to use it.
But even then, that's no knowledge. It's like, okay, like let's say you have a blasphemous act, and I have to get around that. Like, how do I bait it out?
Mm-hmm.
Right? How do I bait out removal? How do I bait out a board wipe? How do I do all these things so that I can accelerate my plan further?
Yeah. How do you make them use it?
Yeah,
I like that.
Like when you play a game, unless you're playing for fun, okay, you have 2 ideas. You either stop your opponent's strategy, or you proceed with your own. You further your own goals. You have one or the other. If you're not doing either of those every single turn or every single spell, okay, then you're either wasting your time or you're just playing like group hug or you're just there to have fun. But if you want to win, you have to do one of those 2 things.
Yeah. I was gonna say really quickly, what is your philosophy on how you want to like put in like a generic deck? You're going in blind and stuff. What amount of removal do you want to take, or how do you go about like your generic average deck?
Slothy, you want to take this?
Sure. For like generic, like baseline removal and interaction that I do, I like to have some things that can deal with anything. And that kind of goes back to the Beast Within's generous gifts. Being able to deal with any permanent type, different ways of removal that are not necessarily just destroy, like sacrificing. You use your fleshbag marauders, stuff like that, stuff that can kind of stifle people's game plans. I just try to have a couple things that are very versatile and can deal with different things as different things kind of come up.
I like that. So again, you tend to go with more of a toolbox of like I have to deal with whatever comes at me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like being able to deal with like enchantments, artifacts, indestructible, hexproof, just a whole bunch of different scenarios kind of go through my head, and I try to figure out at least 1 or 2 pieces, and oftentimes they do overlap, but one or two pieces that can kind of get that desired effect and maybe even be on theme.
I like that. How about you, Sherman?
So, once again, it depends on how you want to play. Okay, so like if you want an example of this, it comes out like one of our other episodes, Irradi deck. So we did the auras, where the theme of the deck, in a sense, even though like we're using auras to steal creatures or anything, all the auras were like basically if this creature dies, we get control of it. So everything was we wanted. I loaded it up with a bunch of board wipes. Okay, now is that a fun deck to play against? I can tell you 100% no, 100%. If your group doesn't like it, okay, is it a good amount? And that's what that's why I changed my philosophy too. Okay, before it used to be like I want to win, I want to cause pain, I want to cause chaos and everything. So I'll be like, okay, like I'll have like 8 board wipes, I'll have like 10 like interactive spells and everything. Now, if I want to have fun, depending on the deck, I have to have at least minimum one board wipe of some sort that's over encompassing everything, like enchantments, creatures, and all that stuff. At least one, okay? Because then I have an out of some sort that I can try to get to. For removal, when there's creature, enchantment, artifact, blah, 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 whatever my deck is weakest to, I will have at least 3 copies of that. Whether it's a counter spell or a beast within, something that covers something that's universal to where my deck is the weakest against. Okay, where I have within the 10 or first like 15 cards, I have a high chance of like a decent chance of pulling at least one of those that will save my butt. If I throw in more, it's just because I want to make sure this deck works well. But at least minimum 3, maximum I now put in is probably 10. Because anything beyond that, people just don't have fun.
Oh, that's fair. Even though it is fun that it's interesting you mentioned fun, because the objectively you want to have removal, you want to have answers, but it's neat that like as commander players we don't want that. Well, I don't want my stuff answered, right? So like it's the fact that you have to like change and like temper the way that you play it based on the fun of the actual table, because no one wants to lose all their stuff, right?
Yeah, like I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, and that's the thing. Like I don't want I tend to play like maybe like once a month now because I'm just so busy. I'm busy with other things and all that stuff. So, and like everyone else we've talked about before. Sometimes this is like for people, they get together once a week. This is the only free time they have and everything. They want to come in, they want to have fun. You don't want to sit down and get blown out game after game after game and be like, okay, well, what's the point of me playing? Right?
Yeah.
And it's a philosophy I carry around with me now. It's like, do I want to be that person that does that? Sure, I can. If I have a play group or I play in an environment where everyone's very hardcore, I'm competitive, I want to do this infinite combo, blah, 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 blah. And like, this is like a bracket 4 deck, so it should win in 6 turns, therefore I will win in 6 turns. You can have that philosophy, or you can be like, hey, technically, this is a bracket 4. Okay, sure. However, at the same time, I've given Slothy 2 wedding rings. I've given Daniel 4 wedding rings. This random straight. I have Thunder. Thunder's in the chat with us in Discord. Thunder, I'll give you another 4 wedding rings. I have my wedding rings. We all draw. We all gain life. Now, how are you gonna win when no one can die from losing life at this point in time, and everyone's racing to not draw cards or to draw at least 1 card in their turn so everyone else draws out? How do you win now, right? That's more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As opposed to, oh, here's another combo, Isochron Scepter, Dramatic Reversal. Oh, I get infinite mana from my Basalt Monolith, and I win the game with a Fireball to everyone's face.
Yeah. Thunder was saying, too, I forget about Farewell, because Farewell just gives me PTSD. But Thunder was saying he had to resort to a farewell to blow up like a double locked in board because there was nothing else to get around it. And if you didn't have that farewell in the deck, well, then you're kind of just out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's fun to try to dig for your answer sometimes, right? Because like you're just like trying to find answers. Like when you have like you go through your deck and you're like, okay, I've gone through this, I've calculated this and everything. Okay, there's like a 20% chance I will draw that one answer within the first like 3 cards, and I have a brainstorm. Do I get it right? That's fun and exciting and everything, right? So as opposed to, hey, look, everyone, I drew my other board wipe out of the 8 board wipes I have in this deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a limit, but it also comes down to your play group. Okay, like I said, the Ariadne deck I had like 5 board wipes. It used to have like 10. Then I brought it down to 5, and even that was too much, right? So to each their own. If your play group is fine with that, then go nuts. Go ahead, board wipe all you want. Have board wipe galore. Like Daniel, you have a Toxro deck where it was a bunch of mana rocks and counter spells or something like that.
Yeah, it's my Toxro rocks.
Yeah, right.
My rock
There's
and roll
nothing
slug.
wrong with doing decks like that. It just comes down to like, do you want to have fun? Do you want to be that kind of person that like sits down and like, just stomps people constantly?
Well,
or you want to be down there and interact with people, and that's the thing. Like most of my spells and my removal, they try to be more interactive. They'll be like, okay, sure, like you destroy this, but you get this instead, or you get these benefits even though this is gone.
I'll help you with this. I love the politics stuff, like the a Lauren of the third path, but I'll be like, but you're getting the draw for the next 3 turns.
Yeah. Like you're pushing forward the game at the same time as opposed to stalling it.
For mine, the Toxrill is it's the most aggressive example of my philosophy, and that's nothing, absolutely nothing. The Toxrill is like a 7 mana commander, and it's like again, that is the removal piece itself, and it's probably one of my most aggressive and annoying decks. The whole deck is just mana rocks, and you can remove Toxrill all you want. You go ahead, but I have more mana rocks in the deck than the average player has removal, and I'm going to play them again. You need something like you can with transformation and stuff, then that's okay, but I always keep up the mana to throw Toxrill away to himself if I need to. But yeah, like if you can get like Toxrill off the board one time and stop him, short of that, you know what I mean? You it doesn't matter if Toxrill's 13 mana, I'm gonna play it again. The in a blind deck, like a more budget-friendly deck, I tend to run the most basic of basic removals, which is like your naturalize, wilts, your disenchants, return to dust, like just these very, very cheap pieces that are in and around everywhere. And I run the strategy of I'm taxing my opponents with removal. If there's a problem, other people have to solve it. And I again, my politics pieces, I'm wonderful at like threatening the table. I'm great at bluffing the table for like what's in my hand until you know me, tell you know there's nothing in there. But that's like my strength is more along the lines of politicsing my way out of a threat or into getting someone to do it and stuff. Like, okay, Sherman, I can kill you next turn, but if you get rid of Slothy's creature, I'll leave you alone for 3 turns. And meanwhile, I might not have anything to kill him, or I might be telling the truth, and I might. Either way, I'm baiting this removal. But I tend to not really run a lot because of, but again, maybe I'm more of a selfish player, but I'm like balls to the wall magic in everything, right? Like I want the most excessive of what I can do in every deck. And that's where my philosophy comes in, is that the way that the average player builds right now, they build in like more than enough removal, like there's 15, 20 pieces of removal on the table. And that's, for me to have an equivalent amount of power, or if everyone's doing 7 pieces, right? 7 more pieces of ramp or 7 more draw sources, like those, that really changes the math of how aggressive your deck can get. And I a lot of times hide my draw in like group hug things, like a Rites of Flourishing or that stuff. But I know that I'm only playing my game strategy. I'm not. this is the wrong wording, but understand me when I say it. I'm not wasting my time with removal. I'm getting more and more of what I want and how I want, to a point that I have to be board wiped. You have to board wipe me to deal with me. You can't leave me in my Jetmir deck alone, because I'm just like I said, I'm all gasoline. There's no brakes. It's all Jetmir, and if you leave it alone, I'm gonna kill everyone. I'm very bad at like the one saving grace people that play with me have is that I, in the most silly fashion, just love to see how big of something I can make, how many creatures I can get, how many slugs can I get out. Like I like to do that.
Turtle.
Yeah. I like to fool around. How many dragons can I get on the field with Miram, right? Like what can we do? And not everyone likes that. I understand that. That's fine. But I wanted to say is that like I'm all my strategy. Whatever the point of my deck is, everything is to either get me to that faster, or again, my removal's player removal. That's the only thing I do. Like I would say I'm probably like the most likely to kill someone, like alpha strike them in a turn than most other people, because like I'm never really playing stuff, right? Like I think I own 7 copies of Farewell, and I think they're all in my box. Like I don't even think I have one in the deck right now. It doesn't even matter if it's a game changer. That's not where I put it. That's binder talk.
Farewell's over.
Yeah, right. But I was gonna say really quickly 2 last things. I want to know everyone's just these last 2 real quick points. What is your favorite piece of removal if you had to do it? Because I do have a favorite piece of removal, and I just can never find enough of them. For me, Pest Infestation. That is mine because it hits so much. I love X spells. I like to get more and more. Like I said, I am a greedy or selfish player, right? So being able to get more of the stuff that I want out of it, that's my play style for sure. So Pest Infestation is just like it's a card near and dear to my heart. How about you guys?
Sure.
I'll think. Go ahead.
Oh, alrighty. Well, I kind of have 2. Previously mentioned Cyber Conversion. I think it's really funny because everybody's always all worried and such when you hold up 2 blue mana for your counter spell, and then you just turn their best thing into a Cyberman.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I think that's really, really funny, and it leads to a lot of interesting interactions. And the other one is this is more of a pet card than something like it's not bad, but Kogla the Titan Ape, because when he enters, you get to fight something and deal with that, and he's a 7/6, so he's probably gonna live. Possibly.
Okay.
And then whenever he attacks, you can destroy artifacts and enchantments, which are enchantments especially are something that people don't run enough removal for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he's best part about it, big monkey.
He is the big monkey. Kogla, I always forget that he doubles up on removal because I underestimate the fight part, because he is coming down and beating on whatever generally is hitting, and he has an indestructible built in, so that not many things can survive a 7 damage fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like, fighting is definitely a way to remove stuff.
Yeah.
And Sherman, how about you?
You know me, I like weird cards. I could talk about a ton of them for ages, and all you got to be like, what the heck is going on? So I'm gonna give you guys 2 of them, okay? And these 2 you guys will probably never have guessed. So if you guys want to try to guess in the comments or whatever, go ahead. But let's start with a board wipe, a real simple board wipe that's very, very situational, but it's really, really strong nowadays, depending on what you build. Or you build, but you go against. And that's going to be, Titiana's Song or Titania's Song?
Yeah.
Titania.
Titania's Song, yeah.
Yeah. So it's 3 and a green. It's an enchantment. Each non-creature artifact loses its abilities and is an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to its total casting cost. If the enchantment leaves play, then everything goes back to the way it was. This is a great way to get rid of artifact tokens, treasures, food, all that stuff. Okay, because they just become creatures, but their casting costs nothing, so they're poof gone. Right? It is a board wipe at the same time, it's a continuous board wipe if you want to think of it that way, because every time someone tries to create a treasure or a clue or a food, it just constantly just goes away. Okay.
Yeah.
Another one, if you're more combat eccentric, okay, and this is like something that I like to do, and this is where it comes to how you know I like politics, okay, and that's going to be called Gaze of Pain. It's 1 in a black. It's a sorcery, okay. Now, for each creature, you cast this at sorcery, okay, and basically it states this: whenever a creature you control attacks and is not blocked, you may choose to have it deal damage equal to its power to another target creature. If you do this, it assigns no combat damage this turn. All right, so this is how it goes. Let's say I have, let's say Slothy's Pillow Forted, okay, and he has a bunch of stuff, a bunch of creatures we can't get through. No problem, Daniel. I'm going to swing every single creature I have at you. Don't block them, okay? I can't get around Slothy's propaganda. I can't get around his ghostly prison. He has a maze of if that's just annoying me. I don't care if he removes that one. That's fine. I'm sending you every single creature I have. Just do me a favor and don't block. And I promise you, you will not take any damage at all. That way, I force all that damage to all of the creatures that Slothy has and takes down his shields, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very interesting one.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
I like things like this. Like, removal doesn't have to just be like things like Beast Within, Chaos Warp, things like that. Feed the Swarm. Who cares? There's things like Droning Diplomats. Okay, that's like 3 in a white. It's a creature. Okay, and you tap X and you tap it, and creatures that have that casting cost or cost that much are tapped. Okay, it's a removal spell. Okay, I don't care what people say. It's a removal spell. It's fantastic if your play group plays a lot of token creature strategies, because you just have to tap it, and then it's going to be for a casting cost of or a cost of 0. That's all the creature tokens that tap. Okay, it's technically kind of removal because you're removing them on the combat.
Yeah. I playing with like players like Brian and stuff also got me to put in a bunch of like mass destroy all enchantment kind of stuff. So 2 other ones I did want to touch on is Tranquil Grove. That's one of my favorite cards to threaten a table with. It's, for anyone who doesn't know that one, it's just 1 in a green, and you pay 1 double green, destroy all other enchantments, and it stays. That's a wonderful card. It's a phenomenal threat to be like, hey, knock it off. And it also makes it so people don't play that stuff. But my card specifically for Brian, specifically the Brian special, is Primeval Light. I bought so many Primeval Lights because of how Brian plays. And Primeval Light, I think I just threw it in the list here. Where is it? Yeah. It's 3 in a green, destroy all enchantments target player controls. Hilarious.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. It's like a River's Rebuke, but
oh man, I hate River's Rebuke, but it's got to go on the list. River's Rebuke into the bounce. My very last question is, looking at this, we've got 70 cards in here. If I was to make a deck with this, if this was the removal special deck, what commander do I put in this? Because I might just make this as a deck.
Derevi.
I think we need 5. I think we need more colors because we got 5 colors. I guess I could cut the black stuff though, but Derevi would be annoying.
Oh, sorry. No, I misunderstood what you said. I was looking at the ones in our little list that we made.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about in the removal.
Oh, I got it. I just didn't refresh it.
Oh, I've been really going off with this.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, goodness.
Technically, it's 5 color.
I've been
technically it's 5 color.
Yeah.
I
changed my answer.
I changed my answer. Again, Derevi could work for a deck like this, but yeah, I've been just stockpiling this with annoying cards. This is my bracket 4 make my table angry deck. What do I look? We don't have that much black, so we could just exclude. We could do 4 color. I'll let you guys know if I turn this into just a straight removal list. I will let you guys know if I end up making something out of it. But yeah,
just anger people more and make it Golos.
There you go.
Thunder is right. He said it's got to be Kenrith. Then I can resurrect creatures for other players after. I give and I take. I am a generous king.
Kenrith's such an annoying commander. Good golly.
I have like 6 Kenrith decks. I love Kenrith.
I don't have a single one. I refuse to play Kenrith. I refuse to.
Whenever this whatever the scroll card is, when it's just other Kenrith, you know it's got to happen. That the Marvel new version of Kenrith, the new 5-color commander that does different. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, the Super Scroll.
Is that what it is? Super Scroll? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little silly with that one too. But yeah, Kenrith is a good choice because you can make people happy, but Golos is hilarious. Golos is objectively the funniest commander to play this and stuff. Just be like, hey guys, do you mind if I play my Golos deck? Don't worry, it's not good stuff. It's not Golos good stuff. And it's just Golos hate deck.
Or what you could do as well to just keep the removal train going, do Child of Alara.
You know what?
Yeah, there you go. Child
That's
of Alara.
obviously the answer. Child of Alara is hilarious.
There you go.
Child of Alara. Yep. Okay. Well, Child of Alara is like I said, I might just build this into the most annoying deck that I've made. It's 73 deep and we've got no ramp, but that's okay.
We don't need it.
You don't need lands.
Nobody's getting anything.
Don't need it where lands are for the weak. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I want to know how other people threat assess. Like, what makes you want to use the removal? Do you just like to remove a problem card because it's a problem card? Like, for instance, I don't blow up Ristic Study every time. I kind of like to threaten people that I could. I'm like, hey, here's my piece of removal. I can get rid of it. Leave me alone. People are like, okay, cool. I'm good with that and stuff, right? I like to make more aggressive deals because I'm more of an aggressive player, right? But what like gets the needle moving for you guys? I want to know like what makes you want to blow a card up? What makes you want to remove things? What's the thought process? And I also would love to hear people's favorite pieces of removal.
Yeah, because like Ristic Study, like even if the person has Ristic Study, let them have it. Just blow up their Reliquary Tower instead. Call it that.
Hate crime. That's a hate crime in most of my decks. That's a well, it's time to head on home. The baby's crying. Sorry, guys. The it's that one's a rough one. I liked hearing your guys' stuff on it. The back to I guess to bring it all round circle. As far as the like does playing a beast within generous gifts, is that the right or wrong thing? It depends on the deck. Sherman nailed it, I would say, the best with it. It depends on what it is. There is no right or wrong way to do it and stuff. You've got again, personality, play style, what deck you're playing. These are all going to be like factors that you have when you're making your removal decisions, right? So there is no one size fits all, but like as far as I can see it, paying 3 mana to give someone a 3/3 and getting rid of the most detrimental thing, I'm always going to think that's okay. Like if they just had another 3/3, I wouldn't care.
Yeah. Like it's a 3/3 vanilla.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I don't care.
Yeah. It's like, is it worth using that? Like, we can come up with so many examples, and be like, oh, like, what if the person has a Maze of If? What if a person has like an Ashnod's Altar? What if a person has like, like all these different things, like a Waste Nut or Oppression or different things. There's so many things, like you can come up with so many different scenarios. It doesn't matter. In the end, it comes down to how do you want to play? What's your play style? What's your deck supposed to do? Like, it's like the same argument with Soul Ring. Do you need a Soul Ring in every single deck? No.
I used to think you did. Now I build without Soul Ring all the time. Mm-hmm. Soul Ring gets you hated on for an opener.
Yeah, 100%.
I will say like I win a ton of games because of the trash rocks I play. Because everyone's just like, all right, like nobody cares if I'm ramping with like these like little stupid like 2 mana tapped rocks, and then suddenly it's like turn 4 and I have 9 mana, and everyone's like, what happened? What is this about?
Yeah. Like my only suggestion to everyone is just, it's not that you shouldn't play with those types of removal. Is more of, you should try playing with different kinds of removal and see what it's like, if you enjoy it or not. What are the benefits and advantages and disadvantages of it? Like what's the difference between like a Path to Exile and something like a Declaration in Stone? Like why would you have that better than something else? Why does no one play? Why not play Midnight or Stroke of Midnight instead? Mm-hmm. Things like that. Like try different types of removal and see what happens, right? The more you try, the more you play around with, the more you expand your knowledge.
I do have
the better you get at the game.
I do have to say as well, try playing without removal. Honestly, try it. It's really fun. Go to your game store. Go to your game store. Buy a Rego for 30 cents. Fill it with trash cards that suck, and just give your table the business. Get your draw with a 0. It's so fun. It's so fun. Free yourself from the shackles of needing to answer problems and just beat face.
So, here. How about this? Convince one play group. So you and 3 other people to do the following thing. Okay, all of you create a pauper deck. All right, but 0 removal, and see what happens. Because guess what? It's not going to be expensive. You can probably go into your draft chat and pull out a bunch of stuff and make a deck and see what happens.
Honestly,
okay? And see if you enjoy it.
I built Dargo Kedis, which is a pauper commander deck, just out of garbage I had laying around.
Yeah. Just have no removal in it and see what happens.
That deck did beat face. And again, I wasn't ready for that one.
But like at the same time, like both of these philosophies teach you something, right? One teaches you how to threat assess, because if you play with a lot of removal and everything, it teaches you what to threat assess, how to threat assess it. Okay. And the other one, if you play with very little removal, is how to like get around situations where you have to get through the defenses. What do you do? What other resources can you do? Can you politic? Can you convince someone else to do? Like everything has like an advantage and a disadvantage, right? Which one do you want to choose? How do you want to play? If you like to talk a lot, okay, run with less removal, because you will be forced to talk to people and make more deals because you have no other way of removing things. If you're the one that likes to get the deals, run a lot more removal. And then people will be like, hey, if you do this for me, I'll owe you a favor. Okay, there you go. Try that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I have a few decks that have a lot of. I feel bad every time. It's not. I'm like, this is mean. I'd rather just kill them.
If you feel bad,
you're doing it right.
Card,
whoa!
Don't play that card.
That's fair. That is actually a great thing. There's my last thing. I've mentioned this deck so many times. I built Zaxara 3 separate times. I've taken Zaxara apart 3 separate times. It doesn't feel good for me to play Zaxara because it does exactly what I want it to do every time. Zaxara is just a monster, no matter how you built it. I even tried to build it like no X spells, just other Hydras. It's still very strong.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's just and yeah, I don't feel good playing that stuff. Alter the Brood's another one. Alter the Brood's a wonderful card, and I rarely put it in decks because it just feels mean.
And that's the thing. If it feels mean, it's a dead card in your hand.
Yeah.
Because you're never gonna play it because you're just like, like everyone's gonna hate me, it feels mean and all that stuff. Then don't play it.
It's weird that I say that. Weird that I say that feels mean, but like one of my favorite things to do is splinter everyone's lands out of their deck. Like that to me is hilarious. Like objectively, so funny. Whoever has the least amount of colors, I'm like, you lose all your islands. That to me is a great thing, and I laugh about it and I ha 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 ha. But then I'm like, mill 2 cards. I'm like, nah, that seems mean, guys. Let's bring the temperature down.
Yeah. Like I had a deck where like I would make copies, like I would have Smeagol, and then I would like mutate it, and then make copies of Smeagol because it's no longer legendary because I mutated it. So I'll have like 6 copies of Smeagol, and then I'll bring back my Nazguls.
Ooh, I like that.
So I'll have like 40 Smeagol triggers, and I'll mill you guys out. And if I don't mill you guys out, I'll have all the lands in your decks.
I don't know if I like that.
It's a mean deck. I don't play it anymore for that reason.
That's fair. Yeah, like I said, I want to know if you guys want any of these things. Anyone else have anything else before I give her the old sponsor wrap, which everyone here should stay through. Everyone stay through my sponsor. Anyways, yes. If you guys like any of these cards we talked about, go over to housecards.ca, promo code IT99. It's going to get you a wonderful deal on cards. they're a great store. They've got great stock. They're very fast at shipping. So definitely go over, give them a chance. They're wonderful. It's where I like to get a lot of my stuff. And yeah, promo code IT99 is going to give you a discount at that. If you want some of these like cool sleeves, playmats, like the trays for your commander, the commander essential kits from Nerd Gear are wonderful. Go to nerdgear.ca, promo code IT99. If you have a lot of playmats like me, playmat sanctuaries are also phenomenal. It's a great spot to actually put them on. And yeah, I want to know what people put in, like how do you remove it? And really, realistically, like I said, try all balls to the wall. No removal. That's the new deck challenge. Show me your no removal decks. We're playing 7-minute games of Magic. Let's go.
Oh, no thanks.
It would cause Sherman to be physically ill. Oh, yeah. Like, share, subscribe. It really does help us out. And thank you guys for listening. If you want to support us directly, come over to Patreon, come chat with us. And I hope everyone has a great week. Now we give them the music.
All right, laters.
See ya.
Bye-bye.